Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Good morning, Ted. I am doing well, and I hope our audience out there is doing well. It is November the 11th, Veterans Day, and we want to wish all of our veterans well, and that our armed forces overseas and all around the country are doing okay on their day. And we're having a big celebration out there because we know a lot of firms out there are giving our veterans free coffee and bringing them in and for free dinners and all of that. So yeah, we're honoring them.
Yeah, and we should. You know, I'm making my business to call a couple of my buddies old buddies that went to service and, you know, in the Vietnam War and that type of thing. I'm making my business to do that, to wish them a happy, Valentine's Day. Not a Valentine's Day, but Veterans Day.
Yeah.
But we want to welcome our audience and let them know that this is the Ted and Ed TV program. And basically, we talk about money. And we talk about politics and current affairs. We do a lot of things that, discuss. And sometimes, occasionally, we have guests. One of the things that what's been going on is some of the topics, I'm going to run them down, and then I'm going to just ask you a few questions about them, because it's a lot of things that's going on in not only in the United States, but in the world. But the one thing that's been out there all over the news is the tax plan. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Ted, I think that the Republicans since they run those two major branches of our government, and they're trying to get something passed that will be a signature program and everything for them for the 2018 election. And I really think that they're trying to do something in a very, very short period of time that is going to have a major effect upon our economy for years to come. And it looks like what they're doing and everything, no matter which house, whether it's the House of Representatives or the Senate portion of this tax plan bill that they're trying to put together, it is going to cause our debt to go up. And and the numbers that they're talking about is just astronomical, how they would present a tax plan that they know is going to increase our debt again. Because when our President Obama was in office, the Republicans were all about reducing the national debt. We can't have nothing going on. We got to reduce the national debt. And now when you ask them, the same people who told us that it's bad to have the country under national debt and our children are going to be in debt for the rest of their lives or whatever, and our grandchildren are going to be in debt for what's going on. Now it's all of a sudden, it's okay now to raise the debt. And they're looking at possibly $1.6 trillion debt that we're going to have. Now, President Obama brought their debt down to almost $500 billion from where it was before when Bush was in office, which was over $1 trillion. And now they're talking about taking that national debt back up to $1.6 trillion again.
Now, you're talking about the deficit or the debt?
The deficit, yes, which is the debt, is our debt. Yeah, that's the deficit, our debt.
Or being overspending on their budget.
Overspending and not having this money and borrowing this money. So they can tax cuts to corporations, because businesses now are, and this has been talked about for a long time, businesses generate the economy, but we all know that businesses don't generate the economy. The people generate the economy. If you are not buying anything, you can't generate the economy. If the corporation can get can get to reduce their tax thing to almost zero. And if giving the money to the businesses and stuff is not creating jobs out there. It doesn't create jobs. It's people who are consumers are the ones who create jobs. Because if you don't buy, I can produce as many cars as I want. I can produce as many televisions and radios and all computers and iPhones and everything. But if my customer is not buying my product, I'm not going to survive.
Well, that's true. And the thing about it is, when you're talking about the imports and exports, we've been running a deficit, on imports for decades. China, Japan, all over the world. The one thing that I have been trying to figure out on this, and I'm not really talking about the debt, but the imports and exports. Are those imports that's coming into America, are some of those American products that they're tacking onto the, because that's like almost $500 billion that we're running right now today, like 400 and some $1 million, that's or $1 billion that's coming overseas. And, because we have a lot of American products that's made overseas, so are they including that into the import process? We export billions of dollars as well, but we always run a deficit. So the thing is that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to find out, you got to do a lot of research to do something like that, to find out if those American companies are included. Because, they making a lot of these TVs and phones and all of that, and they provide a lot of employment. I did a article on using GE, General Electric. Half of their employees are foreign workers overseas. A lot of their employees are, they got over 300,000 employees, and over half of their employees are foreign workers. So, and General Electric hardly even pay any taxes. They don't pay no taxes right now.
Well, they're going through these tax loopholes out there, and like you said, General Electric and a lot of other companies, even Apple, they are taking advantage of tax loopholes. So I think that this tax plan that we're talking about, they're saying that it's trying to help businesses to and give them a tax break. But just like you said, a lot of their products and stuff that they're selling in this country are produced overseas, and they are brought here, and these companies and stuff sell these products which generate profits and everything and stuff for them. So when they're generating these profits and stuff, they want to be able to lower the taxes and stuff that they have to pay and stuff because of the products that they sell to the U.S. citizens and stuff here in our country, the people in our country who are consumers. Well, that monies that they're making and stuff by selling the products and stuff that come from overseas, they want them to be able to have a tax break for doing that, which is actually adding to our debt, because that means that they are not paying for some of the things that we need to have, like our roads and our schools and our healthcare, Medicare, and all that stuff going on. And we need to, and because they're trying to reduce their monies and stuff that they're paying, then we are not actually paying for all of the things that we need. Policemen, fire department, all those things that we need and stuff and everything to be able to run this country. And if you look at what's going on, if you don't have enough money in your coffer, you can't pay for those things that you need to make sure that you have quality stuff going on. Our infrastructure is in terrible shape. Our water our processing stuff is in terrible shape. Our railroad system is in terrible shape. It's falling apart, and we need to build it. Our bridges and stuff that we use to bring our products and stuff, and even though they come from overseas, they have to be transported around the country, and the bridges are falling down.
Here's the thing, though, Ed. Like when you say all of this infrastructure, and this has been going on for many years, as far as updates on the railroad system, the busing system, transportation, all of those things, roads, highways. The thing about it is that a lot of times these people, the only thing they care about is the money that they're getting from these outside sources to not do certain things, to get away with it. So why should they invest? Now they will do their own community, their own district, but there are certain districts, they have their little collectivism, their little group say, okay, we're not going to give that district any money for this particular thing, like business development, or we're not going to be able to have small business loans available for that community. But if you go to certain communities, they live in the life of Raleigh, bro. You go to certain communities, they got nice roads. You can drive all around the place. But then you go to certain other communities, the roads are all bumpy. They have taken care of. They do not have mass transportation, what they need. But then you go to certain communities, they got great transportation because they can jump in their car anytime they want to. So
that goes back to what we're talking about with the tax plan. It is the tax plan that they have is skewed to giving people who already have those amenities that you're talking about more tax breaks. And because they are being able to put more money and stuff into their pockets, and they have a lot of money that they have to spend, that's where the governments and stuff are taking the money and they're spending it because these people have a lot of money. And once they have a lot of money, then they're taking that money and stuff and they're putting it into their resources, because you're right. A lot of them, I live in a community that we have some of the best roads around, and some of the school systems and stuff that we have, because we're in these affluent areas and stuff, they have these schools and stuff, man, these kids and stuff around here, they having some of the best things that you can have. Yeah. I remember when my son went to grade school and he went to middle school, heck, they had 2 books. They had one set of books that they kept at school and one set of books that they brought home. And there were people, communities and stuff in the same area who weren't very affluent or whatever and didn't have a lot of say about what went on in their government. Kids were having to share books. But
that's the whole thing. What I'm saying is that the people with the power, they collectively come together, and in certain communities and districts, they get the money. Absolutely. They get the loans. They get all the things that's necessary to do community development, or what we call is, business development, to prosper. And that's what capitalism is all about. It's about making funds available so that people can revitalize their community or keep it up and make it better.
Okay, so let's ask this question and stuff. Since this tax plan and stuff is out there and they're trying to skewer this money into their friends' pocketbooks or whatever, is this thing going to make it through Congress? What are we going to be seeing Congress, the Senate, and the House enact a bill that is going to pass through both houses that's going to look similar to each other? Are they going to be able to get this thing passed and get this thing done? And that's the question that I would want to be asking and stuff. Now, we understand about what they're doing and why they're skewing this thing, but are they going to be able to pass this thing? Are we going to be able to have a say-so and stuff in what's happening? Because if we know what's going on, we know how they're planning on doing this, what are our chances and stuff of being able to stop what's going on, because when Congress starts messing with something, they always taking it and they're skewing it toward special interests, the lobbyists and stuff out there and what they want, and their friends and stuff who are putting monies in their pockets. Because if you hear one of the representatives and stuff from the House saying, well, we got to get this passed, even though he know it's wrong, and that is creating a debt, but he's come forth in his own words saying, if we don't get this passed, the people who give me my campaign contributors and donors and stuff told us, don't come back to them and ask them for any more campaign money. So because they are threatening them and saying they're not going to get any campaign money, they got to sit there and pass this tax plan that they know is wrong.
Well, right now, you know that the Republicans have the ups on the voting, so therefore it's going to pass. Even though they got a lot of conflict that's going on, I believe it's going to pass through the House, and they're going to do some negotiations, in my opinion, as far as trying to eliminate certain things. But they are really trying to get this thing done because they want a win. And so, and then on the Senate side, so you got to realize a majority of those people that's in the House and in the Senate, they're multimillionaires themselves. So they're going to benefit as well. So, if your tax go from 35 or 32 or 35% or more, and then all of a sudden it goes down to 20% or 25%, you can save millions and millions of dollars. If you don't have to pay that death tax, what I call a death tax, if you don't have to pay that, and that you can just transfer that over to your family, they're going to get a reward. Because when you worth millions and millions of dollars, Pelosi herself is worth over $100 million, her family. Feinstein is worth almost $100 million, and on and on and on. You can count. You got one guy that's worth $400 million. So these people will benefit from these taxes, not the small person. The fact is, they're looking down the road. They realize that, hey, the workers don't matter. The middle class, there is no such thing as a middle class. Now, people think they are middle class. There is no such thing as no middle class.
So how do we come together and fight this thing to where we are able to interject? Because if we know that this tax plan is going to pass, as you were saying, because I got some different thoughts about it passing and stuff here and what's going to happen. What do we have to do and everything to be able to, if they're going to pass this tax plan, what are we going to get and stuff out of this thing? Are we going to get anything from it? The middle class? Because if you listen to 45, he's been saying that this is a middle class tax cut, and he keeps saying that this is a middle class tax cut, and
they're gonna get some. They're gonna get some
tax cut.
Yeah, they're gonna get some. They're gonna get some. They're gonna get $200-300.
Some of
them gonna get $200-300. Some of them gonna get a couple thousand. And they think, I got extra money.
Do you remember when Bush had his tax plan in 2003? $600. In January, everybody got a $600 check.
Yeah, we seen what happened with that, didn't we?
You got something from it, he said.
He said, go shopping.
Yeah, go shopping. And they did. They spent the money.
They put it, one weekend, that money was gone.
They gave it right back.
One weekend, it was gone. So,
yeah, because if you actually look at it, Ted, and part of the things that they're talking about in this tax plan is child tax credit.
That's a big loss.
Wait, man, you talking a lot of money is going back into the hands of the really low income folks, because that is a bonanza for those small businesses and everything. Because from January to March, every year you have used car dealers, you have these rental centers, and all these people who are preying on these folks who get these big refund checks. Because when you put that money in these poor folks' pocket, they're gonna spend it.
Well, that was the whole purpose of a lot of the plans that was going on with President Obama, like giving, people, low income people, some type of relief.
Right.
And the same thing because reason why healthcare.
Yeah.
And one of the things that just sort of kind of switching the subject, and I'm not segueing into this area, but one thing that 45 is really kind of trying to do as far as his trip is, I want to figure out, you tell me, does from 1 to 10, how did he do?
Well, as you were saying, we're changing the subject and stuff. And one of the things that we talked about, that you talked about, in far as the tax plan, was how the import and the export business and stuff is doing. And that's one of the things that Trump has said that he wants to change and stuff, because his trip now that he's taking is to the Far East. And you mentioned Japan and China and stuff, and our trade deficit that's going on there. So he actually wants to go over there, and along with intimidating North Korea, to go to, he's been to Japan, he's been to China, to try to change those trade things that we're having, so we can export more things to China and export a lot of things to Japan and even Vietnam. He's over there now and stuff, but they're talking through that trade thing. So he supposedly is trying to level that playing field and make sure that they're taking as much from us as we are from them.
Ed. Think about it. Think about it. Think about their economy. Vietnam, China, all these different areas. Man, some of those people live off of $20 a month, $100 a month. They're not consumers like America. They're not consumers. They're not going to, they might, be able to buy beef, corn, stuff like that. But, you're not going to be shipping no clothes over there. You're not, any kind of garments or anything like that. But the point is that these people only have a certain amount of money to spend.
So you were saying that he's going to the wrong place?
Absolutely, he's going to the wrong place, because those people that China, listen,
going to there.
China has a 800 million workforce. They have an 800 million workforce, and only about a half of that is working. A little bit more than half of that is working in China, and most of them are working for American companies. A lot of them, and some of them only working for $2 a day, $1 a day. You're middle class, and if you're in China, you're making $19,000 a year, equivalent to $19,000 a year.
So what are you trying to say then, Ted, that our president, 45, is going over there on a mission that he knows is not true?
He is getting along. This is just my own personal opinion, and just looking at his personality and the way he thinks. And in my opinion, 45 is all about himself. He making friends with these people and his buddies, where they can do more goods and services for him.
And so, and I'm gonna, and you said something that I want to kind of tell our audience about. MSNBC has a guy who is a correspondent called Richard Engel. He did last night he did a 1-hour show and stuff on North Korea and what was going on over there, because Trump had went to North Korea and he threatened he hit the leader over there in North Korea. I don't understand that guy's name, Ping Pong, whoever his name is, but he threatened him. And Richard Engel did a series and stuff on North Korea, how the jet planes are flying over there, demilitarized zone, and what's going on there. But he has something very interesting that I think that our viewers should look at and stuff on next Friday. He says that he's going to do a 1-hour correspondence show on 45's international holdings. So it's going to be very, very interesting. very interesting. And I'm going to watch that and stuff so we can talk about that next week and stuff while we're on there. He's already got this thing together, and he says that it's going to be a very explosive show that he's going to have. And I would let my viewers and stuff know his name. The guy is Richard Engel. He does independent assignments and stuff out there for different things that are going on around the world. And he's going to be on next Friday at I think either 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. because he takes over Rachel Maddow's show, or he takes over Lawrence O'Donnell's show, and he does his 1 hour thing. So he took over Rachel's 1 hour show last week. So I guess this week is coming up. He's probably going to be on the 10 o'clock show and take over Lawrence O'Donnell's show. But if our audience and stuff want to find out how our president's international holdings are and stuff, we probably need to watch that show.
Absolutely.
And find out exactly what's going on and stuff there, and how you are saying that Trump is over there just to take care of his own self and on his own properties
and his crony buddies.
Right, and his buddies. So
it's not for the United States, trust me.
So it's going to be interesting to find out what Richard Engel has to say about that. And I'm looking forward to listening to that show.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be good. Hey, let's switch gears on this here. And we generally do a couple of different segments. And one of them is health, holistic health. Now, one of the things that, usually, I was talking about certain things, drinking water, getting your rest, walking every day, being healthy, part of that, and then I was talking about the different things that you can take. One of the things that, and I like for our listeners to listen to do their own research on it, and everything that we say. I have a thing that I've been doing for a little while. It's called taking a teaspoon of virgin coconut butter. Now, coconut butter, is well known for, you can, it sort of kind of, give you good skin and helps your skin and all of that. But taking a teaspoon of coconut butter boosts your immunity, and also is very helpful in destroying harmful bacteria and viruses and funguses. So, and it boosts your metabolism and aids in weight loss, increase your energy level as well. So try it out, do your own research. I'm not going to give the brand that I use because, I'm not going to promote anybody's company, unless they're paying us, for advertising dollars. So, because I am a capitalist. So the bottom line is that try that out, and I think you'll like it.
And on that note and stuff, Ted, since you were speaking about that virgin coconut butter, my wife and stuff has really changed her healthy lifestyle living and everything. And what she does now is that she, when she cooks our food or whatever, she uses either olive oil or coconut oil. And we even got a thing that we started using, and that's grapeseed oil. Well, my wife's cholesterol used to be very, very high because she has hypertension. And now, since she has changed the way she is cooking her food, because we don't use the animal fat oil to cook our food and stuff anymore. We don't use, we use some vegetable stuff, but we also use these other things like olive oil and stuff like that to cook. Well, she's taken her cholesterol and brought it down almost 100 points.
Wow, that is good.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
By doing what she's doing, cooking healthy and not cooking in this animal fat and everything, those things and stuff, we brought it. And olive oil is a very thick oil and stuff and everything, and it's I tasted it and stuff, but cooking your food and stuff and everything, and she even uses it for putting on her salads and everything. She'll take olive oil and put it on a salad. Well, the olive oil and stuff has been known to be very, very healthy and stuff for you. And what that does and stuff is that we have good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Well, my wife has reduced her bad cholesterol and stuff down now to where her good cholesterol is not as very high.
Very good.
And the doctor has said that she is doing very, very well and stuff with that. And along with that, I want to make sure that all of our listeners and stuff out there know that the healthcare enrollment period and stuff is going on now. We just found out that there are a lot of people and stuff out there now who are signing up for healthcare, even though the Republicans have said don't do it. There are organizations and stuff out there who are helping people to get through their enrollment process, and we need to take advantage of this. All our people should go out there and try to get onto a healthcare program, because if you don't have healthcare, you're not going to be able to go to a doctor if you need to go to a doctor, and you're going to have to spend money out of your pocket. Plus, with the healthcare and stuff that's going on now, they give you a physical every year, and people who are in their 50s and late 50s and early 60s and stuff, you need to go see the doctor at least once a year. Once a year, go see that doctor and get yourself checked out, because early prevention is worth a pound of cure. So
Absolutely.
they can find out early, they can do it. Take care of your cholesterol, get it down, because it has to do with your heart diseases and all that other stuff and everything. And it'll help and stuff with cancer prevention, because if they can detect it early, they can deal with it. So, we are all about good health, and I know that's what you're doing. You're trying to let people and stuff, our audience stuff out there, know there are some things that are out there that are healthy for you, that are doing you very well, to keeping you healthy. And we want to be able to get into our 70s and everything and live because most of us are in our 60s now. So and to let my audience know, my birthday was Thursday, so I'm not going to say how old I am.
Hey, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, but I feel good, and like I said, my wife has changed my eating lifestyle. She's causing me to bring my weight down. We go and do exercises and stuff almost every day and stuff for about an hour, and it has helped me tremendously and stuff to feel a lot better about myself and to be able to walk and lean over and tie my shoes up.
There you go.
Because before I started this, I was having a problem leaning over and getting my shoes tied up.
Well, that's the whole purpose of it, I mean, you want to have a good quality of life at certain ages, and I know I do. That's what I try to do, so that's the reason why I try to exercise, do something every day. Another thing that we do is what we call the big connection, believe in God connection. And we try to do a little on the spiritual side, because, there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in a higher power, or God or Jesus and all of that. And that's more power to them. But the thing is, the scriptures, in my mind, you get a lot of wisdom from a lot of people and books and what have you. But to me, scriptures tell us a lot and give us good information. One of the things that this scripture I really sort of I live by and try to walk by, and it's Philippians 4:8, and the subtitle is "Meditate on these things," or "Think on these things." That's why I like to say, "Think on these things." Finally, my brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there's any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. So that word meditate means muddle. That means you should be walking and muddling, the scriptures. If anybody that's listening out there that know the word, A lot of times people, they talk to themselves, or they might think to themselves, hey, mutter the word of God. And that's what you do. What is good? What is lovely? What is pure? What is virtuous? What is lovely? And a lot of things we know ain't true. So I don't think about them, but I'm aware of them. And we have a new segment, and I'm gonna put into this, and I'm gonna let you get to your scripture and your word. But let me just put this in.
Go ahead.
One of the things that we're going to start is a new word of the day, or the word of the week, however you want to put it. And the word that I have is woke. There's a lot of people are becoming awoke. They're awakening up. They're basically realizing politically, business-wise, spiritually, people are becoming woke. They're looking at things. They're aware of things now, of what's going on. And God is exposing a lot of things that we were not aware of. Some of us, I thought, for example, I thought I was what they call as a African American studies or African study purist. I thought I knew a lot about our history. Man, there's so much history that we don't know about. It's just crazy. Things that's being opening up to us, and even spiritual things and all of that. So that's my word, woke.
Okay, sounds good. And I was going to have a verse out here too, Ted, but I think you said enough. That was truly filling. Your verse that came out, I really enjoyed that. I didn't know that you were going to be saying that, and I think that what you said was a mouthful. So I'm going to let you. I'm going to continue on. So you mentioned something to me about another subject you were talking, and I'm sitting here and I'm asking you, said Hulu. I said, who in the heck is Hulu? What the heck is Hulu? And then after you spelled it and everything, I was like, oh, okay. I understand.
That's how you pronounce it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hulu?
that's how you pronounce it, Hulu. That's the name of Hulu.
Well, Hulu, man, is unbelievable. I mean, they've been around since 2007. Now, this is pure capitalism here. And, what they call is a joint venture, because they had a few guys that came up with this idea as far as streaming. And in 2013, they started in 2007. In 2013, they had over $1 billion in revenue. Now, they ended up partnering, but let me back up. Let me just say what Hulu means, and this is their mission statement. This is not their mission statement, but this is why they named it Hulu. They named it Hulu because, and it's it's from a ancient Chinese proverb. Hulu is the holder of precious things.
Mm.
The secondary meaning, the secondary meaning is interactive recording.
Okay.
Now I don't know how they got that out of the first one or the second one, but they claim that the secondary meaning is interactive recording, and that's what they do. But here's the deal: they have these CEOs. However, they must have certain people on the board.
Mm-hmm.
They board of directors, and it's a joint venture. Walt Disney owns 30%.
Absolutely.
21st century founders,
right?
They just basically sold it to all of these groups,
right?
And now it just went over IPO.
Yep. That is the thing now, Ted. Let me tell you how I got involved in Hulu. And for the audience out there, some of you all probably have not come in contact with Hulu, but I have. My media company was AT&T, and I used them to get my television programming and my internet. AT&T started out with my programming, and the prices were low, and it seemed like every year it started going higher and higher and higher and higher. Well, my internet and my media stuff and everything had gotten so high that I was paying almost $250 a month to get my internet and my TV and stuff in my home. And it meant that I could only, and every time I've got a television and stuff, and I have to have, my daughter had to have a television, my son had to have one, my wife and I had to have one, and then we had one in the living room. So there are 4 boxes that we had. Okay, so with each one of those boxes, AT&T and whoever you get, DirecTV and all those people out there, Comcast, whoever they are, they charge you for those boxes.
Yep.
That was $40 a month that I had to do to rent that box. I couldn't buy it.
Wait a minute, that's per box?
$10 per box.
$10 per box, okay.
$40 that I was paying just to rent their boxes. They wouldn't let me buy it. You couldn't buy that box. So if you extrapolate that out from 2009, when I started getting them, to when I just cut them off, I said, hey, I'm getting rid of you guys and stuff because this is too much. I have paid for this box 10 times over. Okay. In 10 months at $40, you know how much that is. That's $400. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's $400 for every year. That's $480 for those boxes that I was paying. And and I did that from 2009 to 2014. Then I started cutting back. I said, hey, this is too much. I can't keep on paying for these old boxes. And they weren't. And every time when I go out, they would just send me back an old raggedy box, and I had to put it back in there, and it'll work for a little bit. Then it'll break down again. I'm still paying these $10. I'm not going to do it. So there was a system. People started coming out, and they were very upset about AT&T, Comcast, Time Warner, all those people that you were talking about, NBC Universal, who owns Comcast and stuff right now. They were complaining about them. So they said, we're going to start a group called Cord Cutters. When that group started, the first entity that they used, because they use the internet to stream their media to their television. They can have a box that they can go out and buy for, say, $60, and they can use that box and program it and stream Hulu onto their television sets. And Hulu started out back when you were talking about it, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger until I started using them in the last part of 2013 and the first part of 2014. I started using them for a while. But I cut Hulu out because they were getting too bad. I didn't like them because they was too much with standard stuff. I couldn't get my local programming. My wife wanted local programming. So we figured out ways and stuff of avoiding that. So I took my bill from $250 a month to $110 a month.
That's a big savings.
That's a big savings. But a lot of people out there do not know about this. They're still paying for Comcast's television and all that other stuff, but there is a ways out there now that you can save money by streaming your media and stuff to your television sets, and there's a lot of options and stuff out there now other than Hulu. And I'm pretty sure that's probably the reason why Hulu sold out to all those other companies out there now, because those companies and stuff after a while realized that they were losing a big market share and everything because of Hulu. So they said, well, if we're losing the market share, we might as well get involved in it. So they went out and started buying them and they bought them out. So I don't blame those guys who started Hulu to sell out, because I'm pretty sure that each one of those big companies and stuff paid them a big big check for letting them have access to Hulu. And
Oh
then
yeah.
they're constantly getting a check because they're sitting on the board. So anytime you sit on one of those folks' boards and stuff, these people don't do nothing. They may meet for one day a month, and they'll come in there and they'll service up to them and everything. You get everything you want, have lunch and all that. And you sit around there and bull crap. And for 12 times a month, they're probably paying them $5 million.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't doubt
you can't beat it.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that their prescription is up to over 30 million subscribers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you got a subscription of over 30 million, that's usually when you got 30 million people that's looking at different parts of your programming, that's advertising dollars. And that's what you was on along with you saying, why they bought these people out, because they advertise on those programs just like you do on regular TV.
Well, when they started out, Ted, they did not have advertising on it at all.
Right.
All they had was like maybe when you looked at their major screen, they may have had people's things pop up on there, but when you start watching the program, there was no advertising on it. Mm-hmm. And now they're advertising stuff real heavy and stuff because these other people and stuff, they want to enrich their pockets again and everything. So they're putting ads back on there. So eventually they're actually going to be cutting their throat because the original cord cutters and stuff, now they're not going to get Hulu anymore. They're going to leave them alone because they found other things. And I want to drop their name out there. They got this thing called Kodi out there that they have now for streaming, and most people don't know.
How you spelling that? CODY?
KODI, Kodi.
KODI, Kodi.
Kodi.
Okay.
Yes. And I use Kodi sometimes, but there are other things out there for my streaming. I have a lot of streaming stuff going on out there, and my bill is I still pay for internet, but I have unlimited internet that comes in my home. All of my sons and grandson and stuff come in there. They have their own system and stuff set up, and they don't bother me and my wife's system and everything. So we separate all that stuff so they have their own thing. And I use a thing called static IP addresses and stuff and everything for each one of them so they can have their own internet thing out there. Most people don't understand about static IP addresses, but it's another way of being able to, when people from the outside see that they can't see who we are inside of our house because the internet IP address is being hid.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff going on out there as far as media streaming and what's going on out there, and our audience should know, man, it is just astronomical. There's probably 7, 8, 10,000 different systems and stuff out there now that people can start using and stuff to get their video or whatever inside their homes. It is just unbelievable what they have out there, and it is. I've just touched just the tip of the iceberg and stuff with that. But I'm telling you, I can push on my thing. I have to. It's not as easy as having a box inside your home. All you need to do is a little bit of knowledge about what's going on, and I can bring shows and stuff. I can see every show that have been ever produced out there, TV shows. I go back and I watch some of the old shows like when you and I were growing up. They had Have Gun Will Travel, all of Clint Eastwood's old thing. They had these movies and stuff out there, The Rifleman, all that stuff. I go.
So you could do like a marathon if you want to, huh?
Yes, sir. All of them, all of their shows they had out there. I go out there and watch. I watch Perry Mason, all of his shows and everything and stuff out there because I used to love Perry Mason because he dealt in the criminal stuff and everything, and I just he always caught the criminal. And you name a show that's out there, Sanford and Son, all of them shows out there. They are out there in the digital world out there, and they're easy to be brought down there right to your home without access to these media companies and stuff who are getting our dollars. So all you gotta do a little research and you can get it.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that we're gonna come back to this politics thing, and one of the hot topics, is our beloved Donna Brazile. What in the world is going on with her? She got a book out. What is going on with her, man?
Well, Ted, my girl Donna, I guess she's she's a difficult person for people to understand. She marches to her own drum beat, and I really believe right now that we have a media out there who really do not understand her and what is going on inside of her head. And she has a book out and everything now called Hack, and it talks about and we spoke about this last week and stuff on her and what she was doing a little bit. But since we spoke about it last week, man, they have really been beating girlfriend over the head, and she's been going on a lot of shows out there, and they've gotten articles and stuff and news medias and stuff all over the country and stuff. Some of them are okay with her, and some of them are beating her over the head, telling her that she's a traitor and calling her all kinds of things. And I guess it got to a point last Sunday where she told one of the commentators asked her what it was she feel about it, and she said, tell them all to go to hell. But couple of days ago, I guess on Thursday, she got on the show, and one of the commentators asked her again and stuff what she said, and she said, well, after afterthought, thinking about that, she said it was kind of heated and that she regret having to say go to hell and try to use a different method and stuff of communicating and stuff with her audience and stuff out there, and that if these people start going low and want to cut her knees off and everything, she's going to keep on carrying on with that high road. So
we wish the best for her. You know, I mean, I don't understand all the things that's going on, and you know, just what I see on TV and read and different, you know, like the AP or something like that. But you know, I think she's a very smart person. She's been in politics, you know,
a long time,
and she knows. You know, she knows her way around, so I'm sure she's going to pull through it. And I know she's got a lot of support. So
she's been there since 1990, but her support system and stuff, evidently, they aren't being very voiceless and stuff out there and stuff on her behalf, because all the negative folks out there seem like they're getting all the newsprint. But she's very astute and stuff in what she has done. She understands politics and how it's going on, and I think that Hillary and all of her people and everything need to take some blame and stuff for letting 45 get into power, because, and she says in her book, and other people are talking about it, but she doesn't know what she's talking about as far as energizing people. She did not energize people. She did.
All
not.
I can say is this:
she did not, and she needs to take responsibility.
You lose Wisconsin by 23,000 votes, and you never went to Wisconsin. You know, come on. That's all I gotta say. Hey, you know, I mean, you know,
she could have won that. She could have won. All she had to do was go there to these places. You have political consultants out there, and they are the ones who are telling you what's going on. When President Obama, he won his first term and he won his second term, he had expert people and stuff out there knowing where he was going to get his votes at, and where these votes were going to come to, and how they were going to beat the candidate. Her people did not do their due diligence into getting those votes and stuff out, and where that stuff was going to be coming from. And they did not energize their people. You can't send Beyonce and Jay-Z out there 2 days before the daggone election to do a daggone concert and stand in line, have all these people standing in the line to watch Jay-Z, and nobody is out there talking to those people who are in those lines. If they went out there and talked to them, they would have found out, I'm not voting for her. I can go into the concert, it's free, but I'm not voting for her. You have to listen to those people on the street and energize them to come out and vote. Look at what happened in Virginia and stuff on Tuesday. Everybody was talking about Ralph Northam wasn't going to win. Man, he beat the crap out of that boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they listened to the news media. The Republican posters knew that Gillespie was going to lose that election. They already knew that, but they didn't want. They said, well, okay, it's going to be close or whatever. So there's no sense to going out there and voting because Ed Gillespie is going to win. So it's you have to be on top of your business and everything, and you have to do your own polling. And those people that she had in charge, they worked in the Obama administration. They worked with Obama and for getting folks elected, and that's why Hillary brought them in. But they gave her bad advice. They did not give her good advice, and so they did not predict that, because all of them thought, hey, was she gonna? They hadn't, people not gonna vote for Trump. Well, they did. They did. The man has it, because even his Republican people did not think he was going to win.
Yeah.
He ain't going to win, but he did. Go out there and talk to the people. They're the ones who are going to go out there and vote. You have to talk to the people. The people out there on the street. You have to go into those communities, because that's what we did when we worked for Obama. We went into the streets and talked to our people who were going to come out there and vote, and use them to come out there, and knew that they were energized, and sit there at them daggone polls and stuff. At every one of those key polls and stuff, you had people sitting there and telling them and putting in information back all the way into Chicago office there, telling them where these folks is at. And Chicago would tell them, okay, these are the people that we need to get out. We need to get more votes in this precinct right here. This precinct has to bring these votes out. She did not do that.
There you go. Yeah.
That's how you win.
And so now we're looking for 2020. So you know, she's done. We got to move on.
Yeah, but we want to make sure that everybody knows that this tax plan is going on, with all these other things going on, with the health care that's getting ready to happen, with everything that's going on out there.
Get engaged.
You don't get out there and vote, Ted, you can't sit back on Tuesday or Wednesday after the election and be complaining about, I got holes in my street. I got all this other stuff going on. My school system is messed up. You can't complain if you don't get out there and vote.
Got to get engaged. Yeah, next week we're going to really talk about engagement, because I'm talking about, when I say engagement, I'm talking about money, how the money is actually not getting into the urban areas. I really want to talk about that, because it's a lot of things that can really uplift the community if they get engaged. They're doing some or at least they're attempting to do some things here in Tampa that is really I would say is groundbreaking. So I'm gonna, you know, sort of kind of speak on that just for a few minutes next week.
Okay.
You got any last words before we leave?
I'm fine. I think we had a good program today, and I really am, and I'm enjoying this, Ted. I really am, and I'm hoping that our viewers out there are going to start listening to our broadcasts and stuff, and more and more people and stuff understand what's going on out there and what we're doing, because I enjoy this and stuff on Saturdays, and we want to let our audience and stuff know that we're thinking about doing either audio or even a audio video thing and stuff on Tuesdays and Thursdays and stuff in the middle of the week. So we're putting this stuff out there, and we're trying to get it together. So we're liking what we're doing, and it's informative to our audience and everything. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to add to our show and everything, just email us and stuff at admin@ted@moneyconnection.com. And we'll answer your emails. And
all right, then that's the main thing, you know. And check us out. Check out our tedned.com and check out our blogs, because Ed put about 2 or 3 of them, maybe sometimes 4 a week. I'm trying to keep up.
Those blog articles are very informative for you all. I mean, there's some information out there for you, and very interesting things that are going on out there that some of our audience might not know that's going on, and things that are happening that's going to affect their bottom line.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Hopefully you guys will go out there and touch upon us. And like Ted said, go to Facebook, and you can be able to get out to our blog, or go to Ted and Ed moneyconnection.com, and you'll be able to look at our website there and see what we're doing. So
okay. All right, until next week. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.